Late breaking news as we come on air tonight. An inmate has died at the Bexar County Jail from what deputies say was a medical episode.
Yeah, it all happened just about 2 hours ago in the medical section of the jail. Japhanie Gray live outside the jail for us tonight.
Japhanie, what can you tell us?
Yes, the sheriff's office released a statement saying that a 64-year-old man was waiting to be transported to University Hospital for his already existing medical condition. Unfortunately, officials say that while the inmate was waiting, he experienced a cardiac episode. They say both deputies and medical staff performed life-saving measures before San Antonio Fire Department EMS personnel took over. Officials say at 3:09, the inmate was pronounced dead. Now, sheriff's officials say preliminary information indicates that the death was caused by the inmate's medical condition. At this time, his name has not been released, but Sheriff Javier Salazar is currently being interviewed right now. We'll be sure to bring you any new details about this incident tonight at 10. Courtney?
Thank you, Japhanie. Hundreds of Americans are en route to JBSA Lackland, the base now receiving more coronavirus evacuees.
Yeah, this all comes as a group from the Diamond Princess cruise ship that's been docked in Japan. When they arrive here, they'll undergo a 14-day federal quarantine.
Stephen Cavazos is live near Kelly Field Airport, where that plane will be landing soon. Stephen, what do we know about that flight?
Well, Tim, Courtney, we know that passengers will be arriving here sometime in the next several hours. Now, once they arrive here to Kelly Field Airport, they will be transported to JBSA Lackland, where that 14-day quarantine is set to begin. Now, a second plane is expected to land in California, where those passengers will be taken to Travis Air Force Base for quarantine. Passengers were screened before boarding and will continue to be monitored during those flights. Now, anyone that tests positive or becomes symptomatic will be transferred to an off-base facility regulated by the CDC. Their arrival comes after the Department of Defense announced yesterday they plan to extend the availability of quarantine zones at Lackland and 3 other military bases until mid-March. Now, those passengers who were on board the cruise ship will be housed separately from those who are already under quarantine. Now, again, that flight will be landing here at Kelly Field Airport within the next several hours, where we will continue to bring you live coverage. But for now, reporting live, Stephen Cavazos, KSAT12 News. Tim, Courtney.
Thank you, Stephen. We'll be definitely checking in later. New at 5:30, we now know the name of a man found dead near Harlandale High School. The Bexar County Medical Examiner identified him as 25-year-old Jonathan Hope. His body was found Tuesday around 420 on Rosebud Lane. The medical examiner also says the cause of death is ruled as a gunshot to the head. A 15-year-old was arrested and is now facing a murder charge in connection with Hope's death. It's still unclear if Hope and the teen knew each other. That teen suspect is in the Bexar County Juvenile Detention Center.
Meanwhile, Bexar County deputies are asking for your help finding a missing 42-year-old. This is a picture of Joel Eugene Cross. He was reported missing yesterday. Deputies say he was last seen in the 6,000 block of Encanto Point Drive wearing gray sweatpants, a blue and gray sweater with no stripes and no shoes. Cross does have a medical condition that requires medication. If you have any information about his whereabouts, you're asked to contact deputies at the number you see there on your screen.
Now to the 2020 presidential race and the battle for Nevada. Candidates are stumping hard, getting ready for a debate on Wednesday, with the caucus now less than 1 week away.
The Democratic presidential candidates flooding the state of Nevada Sunday ahead of the first contest in the West. The caucus is just 6 days out and early voting already underway. Pete Buttigieg leading with the most delegates so far, taking aim at conservative radio talk show host Rush Limbaugh, who said the country won't elect him because he's been kissing his husband on stage after debates.
I love my husband. I'm faithful to my husband. On stage, we usually just go for a hug, but I love him very much. And I'm not going to take lectures on family values from the likes of Rush Limbaugh.
Senator Bernie Sanders, fresh off his New Hampshire victory, continued his Medicare for All push at a rally in Carson City.
The function of health care is to provide quality care to all, not to make huge profits for the drug companies and the insurance companies.
Former Vice President Joe Biden attacking Sanders' health care proposal.
He's been talking about health care, Medicare for all, universal health care for 35 years. Nothing's happened. I helped get past Obamacare.
Senator Amy Klobuchar racing to get ahead despite finishing third in New Hampshire polls show she has limited support in Nevada and South Carolina.
My name identification in states outside of the early few states was not that high.
Meanwhile, President Trump on his way home from his Florida retreat, making a grand entrance at the Daytona 500 with a partial lap around the famed racetrack in his presidential limo.
The president is planning a campaign rally in Nevada Friday night, the day before those Democratic caucuses.